First and 20. Montana back to throw. Going deep. It's going to be picked off by Lawrence Taylor. And he's got a lot of room to run. Montana is down. Taylor is in the end zone. But Montana is hurt. This was the intended receiver. Lawrence Taylor was the only man there. And Montana took a shot.
The hit, it was Jim Burt. Burt came through and unloaded on Montana. Montana just threw it out there. As you say, Lawrence Taylor was the only guy out there. I tell you, Montana was really bounced off that turf. It looks like they're checking his right shoulder. But you think again, Burt is going to come straight up the middle off Quillen's block there, hit Montana. I don't know, it could have been either shoulder the way he hit there.
What's going on, Bay Area? It's your boy, Chewy Gomez from 102 Jams. Listen to me every day, 3 to 7, playing your best hip-hop and throwbacks. Now back to my boys, Bonte and Shasky, right here on 95.7 The Game.
That was one of the lowest points for Bill Walsh, Joe Montana, the 49ers, January 4th, 1987, in a divisional round game. The New York Giants roll over the San Francisco 49ers 49-3. Joe Montana knocked out right before halftime. He was woozy. He needed 3 people to help him get back to the locker room. He was knocked out of that game. He was 8 of 15, 98 yards, 2 interceptions. Jeff Kemp had to replace him. He wasn't much better. 7 of 22 for 64 yards. They got shut down all around. Phil Simms had his way, 4 touchdown passes. Joe Morris ran all over him, 24 carries, 159 yards, 2 touchdowns. And that's just one of the many, many legacy games these teams have produced against each other. We got some Niner highlights, trust me. They've been on the good end of some good playoff games, including Ricky Waters, 5 touchdowns in a game against the New York Giants in a playoff game. Remember that?
I'm ready for that one. Jim Burt, man, did you know what college he went to?
I do not know.
Sam Lubman.
Did he go to the U?
It's all about the U.
Did he go to the U?
Yes, he did.
Wow.
Undrafted. When I think of nose tackles from the 80s, like that's who I think of. Someone like him. Neck roll, giant, just the number 64 for crying out loud.
No doubt.
With the double rubber elbow pads, just a throwback player, crushed him. That's one of those, like, when we talk a lot about like the Niners, you know, when they won the Super Bowl in '89, they kicked the crud out of the Rams on their way to doing it. That's one of the signature victories of the Parcells era,
No doubt.
en route to the '86 Super Bowl.
And they blew up the Denver Broncos. They beat up on the Redskins. I mean, that Giants, he was vicious there. Jim Burt, he explained that hit on Montana Lubman. Let me know if you got it ready to roll here. Jim Burt, they wanted to score 100 points on the Niners that game. Here's Jim Burt explaining that hit.
Phil Simms gave us the confidence, scored 49 on him, and I wish we'd have scored 89 on him.
So, pre-snap, right before the hit, take me through what happens before you blow Montana up.
It was just before the half, and they were trying to get down and get a score just before half to try to get back in the game. What happened on that play? LT dropped into coverage, so I went in, and he was in the midst of throwing letting the ball go, and he had him right underneath his arm. So when I hit him, he kind of flipped, and as he flipped, he came down, and he actually came down right on top of his head. I knew he was hurt because it was a thump. It was one of those things where you kind of like get the perfect hit.
Goes wildly, intercepted. There goes Taylor down to the 20. 10, touchdown. LT, way to go.
Man, and when Jim Burt walked off the sideline, all these Giants all his teammates were like hitting him in the shoulder.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, good hit. Hell yeah, good hit. They took pride in knocking out the quarterback. That's why when it comes back, to the NFC Championship game, and I hear too many Niner fans or even media members, oh man, well, we didn't have a quarterback. Well, that's because the other team knocked your quarterback out.
100%.
Defenses, that's what they gear up for. We need to lay that woo hit. What did Ronnie Lott always talk about? What did Dante Whitner, the hitman, always talk about? Laying a woo hit. And teams, defenses, they take pride. Buddy Ryan, you don't think he took pride in knocking out quarterbacks?
Fred Warner against the running back week 1, your boy Najee.
No doubt.
I mean, that was a play that was bigger than one play.
It changed the entire game. The game was over from that point on. If we look back at it, he knocked out Najee, and the Steelers basically tapped out. We saw Bosa do this to Dalvin Cook. My guy, Dalvin Cook, Florida State, tapped out in that divisional game
Yes.
because he got a couple woo hits.
Aaron Rodgers in the NFC Championship game tapped out on the Niners. Remember that?
Right, no doubt. So, no, I'm not advocating for injuring other
No, but
players.
that's
Greg
part
Smith,
of the game.
But that's part of defenses.
Yes,
I'm telling you about their
it's
mentality.
baked into the game.
They want to smack you so hard
100%.
that you don't want to get back on the football field. They want you to think about it. They want you to think about next time you run that quick sled, you better be looking and turning your head and having your head on a swivel. That's what defensive football is all about. It's about setting the
Yes.
tone. And that's why I expect this defense tonight for the 49ers to pick up where they left off in the second half against the LA Rams and let Daniel Jones know it's not going to be a picnic tonight. You're not going to have your way. If you run out of that pocket, you will get laid out. I'm not saying injured, but you will get
Yes.
hurt and you will feel it.
You know, I was thinking about how would they have reacted last year, 1 year ago, before McCaffrey with no Ayuk. I think they'd be in trouble. I think you'd be in a lot of trouble offensively, Bonte. And I think that they can overcome no Ayuk tonight. I really do. It sounds like it's going to be a pain tolerance thing leading up to game time. Is that?
That's the hit that Burt put on Montana. Just you listen to how hard it sounds.
Play it one more.
Sounds
Sounds
like
like the Benjamin play.
well, even better.
Even better. Can you play it one more time? Ooh, that's what I want Fred Warner to do. Ooh, that's what I want tonight.
I like the music in the background better.
The music is great. The OG jingles.
It's really good.
That's what they did.
When you
right.
see the red coat with Belichick and some of those sideline things where he's wearing the red New York Giants coat,
no doubt.
I just
No
love
doubt.
it.
And that's what this game is about. That New York Giants defensive line is going to try to punish Brock Purdy. They want to see how much tolerance Brock Purdy has when it comes to pain. Dexter Lawrence is second. Kayvon Thibodeau, it's a standalone game for him.
I think
this
he's-
is a huge game
Yeah.
for Thibodeau. A lot of talk nationally.
Yeah.
He hasn't performed well. He's been kind of an underachiever coming out of Oregon. We've been knowing about this kid since high school out in Southern California. This hot shot prospect. Well, what is he going to do wearing number 5? Is he going to come out that edge, causing havoc, or is he going to allow himself to get blocked? Isaiah Simmons, another guy who's been an underachiever, come out of Clemson. And then, of course, you got Big Cat Williams in the middle. It's going to be a physical football game, so if you can't run the ball, who's going to be that threat in the passing game outside of Debo and George Kittle? Does Ronnie Bell have to step up? Is it another Juwan Jennings game? Is it Ray McLeod getting deep here and testing these rookie corners of the New York Giants?
I hadn't
don't
considered him. Or do we bust out Nick Bosa, George Kittle tonight?
Yeah.
George Kittle's the guy that I think could really get loose. They don't really have a whole lot to slow him down. I know Simmons was originally drafted in Arizona to stop him. I got a feeling George busts out. He really loves these primetime games.
He does love these primetime games, and he's had a quiet start to the season as this segment is brought to you by Go to State Lumber, serving the Bay Area for 3 generations. When you succeed, we succeed. Visit GoToStateLumber.com. The Giants stayed out here in Phoenix, Arizona, after playing the Arizona Cardinals on Sunday, rallying from a 20-0 deficit. They kind of saved their season from an early 0-2 hole. They missed a lot of tackles. James Conner ran all over them. Joshua Dobbs, quietly had a nice little day for the Arizona Cardinals, who are they trying to win football games? Are they trying to stay competitive?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on down there, but they have a terrible, terrible roster right now. But the Giants, they fought life and death with them. Now they come in Levi Stadium without Andrew Thomas, their starting left tackle. They come in here without Saquon Barkley. We all know who Saquon is. So now we're going to see Matt Breida, the Cheetah, former 49er. We're going to see Gary Brightwell, Eric Gray. Who are these running backs
clue.
here? Who are these guys?
Well, I know who Matt Breida is. When he was with the 49ers, he can hit a home run. But we found out he does not like physical football. He's a run to the edge, get out of bounds kind of guy. Not that he can't be effective. I just don't see how he's going to have a big impact on a game like this.
No doubt. Yeah, Matt Breida the Cheetah, but if he does get outside, he does have speed.
He has major speed.
He has major speed. As you're listening to 95.7 again,
Major.
KGMZ FM in HD1 San Francisco, always live on the free Odyssey app. Download the Odyssey app and favorite 95.7 The Game for the best and most up-to-date sports coverage. Do not forget, you can also watch us every single day on our YouTube and Twitch streams, sponsored by our very good friends at First NorCal Credit Union. And just log on and search 95.7 The Game. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. While you are there, don't forget, after the game, Mark Grady's 30-minute Alice Styles will have your instant reaction on overtime, immediately after the game. Hear it all right here on 95.7 The Game as we set the tone for Giants and Niners. Brendan Ayuk, game time decision. Ambry Thomas, we'll see if he can play with that knee. Diablo Lenore, we'll see if we get an update on him as well. He should be able to play because I think he's had a good start to the season.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I was looking at some of the videos that Baldy was putting out again. The Trent Williams video is really impressive about just how they like to run behind Trent. Aaron Banks has gone really under the radar. I think people that are in the know that follow these things, that understand sophisticated line play,
Right.
know that he's a very good player. I just didn't realize how good he was. They really got a player in Banks.
And a lot of people thought that was a waste of a second-round pick. Now, they held...
Tomlinson was good for them.
Tomlinson was really good. He was really good, but Banks got to learn behind Tomlinson.
Yeah.
He was able to learn behind Williams, Trent Williams, that is. And even then, Mike McGlinchey, I'll give him some credit there. Aaron Banks, he may not be mentioned now, but if you block Dexter Lawrence the second,
Yes.
and if we don't hear Dexter Lawrence the second name tonight, if we don't hear his name tonight, and if we don't hear Leonard Williams' name tonight, that means Banks did his job. And that's how you get credit nationally.
Yes.
That's how you get recognized by your peers. You talk about standalone games, Thursday night games, Monday night games, Sunday night games. You shut these two big monsters down in the middle of that defensive line, you will get recognized and you will get credit. So that's what Banks has in front of him. He's got to block these two monsters inside in Leonard Williams and Dexter Lawrence II.
Upati would be probably the best guard since the Garcia era.
Yeah, probably.
You think so?
Yeah, probably.
You weren't big on Upati?
I loved Ayupati.
Oh, okay, because I loved him. Yeah, no, that's why I'm at. I think Banks has a chance to be as good as him. I mean, Ayupati was basically on the fringe of the Pro Bowl every single year.
Right. No, Ayupati was great.
You know, I know he broke his leg or something in the NFC Championship game against Seattle. Never really recovered and kind of bounced around. Right. He was a great player for the Niners. Yeah. And if you find a guy in Aaron Banks who you think is going to be one of those types of dudes, now you don't have to worry about left guard for what? 8 years, 9 years?
That's 7 years.
That's
Hopefully
big.
He stays injury free. So Big Banks is playing well on the left side, and we know the Niners love running behind Banks and Big Trent Williams. So they got a big task in front of them. Wink Martindale, the defensive coordinator for the New York Giants, I expect him to send a lot of exotic blitzes, different places, and that's where Spencer Burford and Colt McKivitz, again, they're going to have spotlights on them every single week. Every single defense is going to look at these two guys on the right side and say, attack them. Let's see how they hold up. Let's see what McKivitz has. Is he an improved right tackle? What about Spencer Burford in the second year? Or was he just a stiff? Was he a flash in the pan? So far for Spencer Burford, I say he's been the worst lineman on the team. Not Colton McKivitz.
I would agree with that.
I think Burford with his penalties against Pittsburgh, last week some penalties, not knowing where to be. Like, Spencer Burford's got to step his game up.
Agreed. I also think that he gets a bulk of whoever the best interior pass rusher is lining up against him, right? And so he's got a lot of difficult assignments, and clearly him and McKivitz got things to work out in terms of their communication, because there was a couple of times he slid over one way to help and left a free guy coming through the middle or went the other way. They're going to have to work on that. I'm not ready to really panic about him, though.
No, I'm not,
I like him.
I'm not going to panic about him. He's a good player.
I think we're not you, but I think people are over criticizing him. Right. Somebody's going to be the weak point.
Well, I think a lot of criticism for him is because we seen him play at a high level last year.
Okay.
He came in as a day one starter.
Yeah.
Day one starter.
Even though they were kind of rotating that. But yes, you're right.
But he was in taking the bulk of the snaps.
Yes.
So I expect greatness from Burford, and I expect him to step up tonight against the New York Giants.